If you have a child on the way or you're a new parent, you need to hear this. The government just announced a new $1,000 gift for families, but so many people are getting the details wrong, and that mistake could cost you. So let's break down exactly what this is and what you need to do.
So here's the headline. The federal government is planning to put $1,000 of what they're calling seed money into a special investment account for every single eligible child. But this isn't a check you can just go cash for diapers. It's an investment, and it's designed to grow for a long, long time.
So yeah, this is a huge, kind of unexpected opportunity for new parents. But, and this is a big but, it's not automatic. There are some very strict rules you've got to follow to get the money and, more importantly, to actually grow it. Let's get into those rules right now. Okay, first things first, we've got to figure out if your child is even eligible for this whole program. This is probably the most important part, so listen up.
The biggest rule is all about timing. Your child has to be born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028. That's it. It's a very specific 4-year window. If their birthday is even one day outside of that, they're not eligible for this. Okay, beyond the birth date, there are 2 other really simple requirements. The child has to be a U.S. citizen, and, this is key, they must have a valid Social Security number. You literally can't open the account or claim a dime until you have that number in hand. Now, this next slide is where a lot of people are getting confused. Even if you have a baby in, say, February of 2025, you can't open an account right away. The entire program doesn't officially launch until July 4th, 2026. So if your newborn qualifies, you're just in a holding pattern for a bit. You haven't missed anything. You just have to wait for the program to officially go live. So that initial $1,000 is just the start. The real power of these accounts is how you and your family can add to that seed money over the years. Families are going to be able to contribute up to $5,000 per year for each child into this account. And that number is supposed to go up a little bit over time with inflation, which is nice. And here's a pretty cool perk. Your employer can also contribute to your child's account. They're allowed to chip in up to $2,500 a year. But you really have to pay attention to the math here. That employer contribution counts against your $5,000 limit. So let's say your company puts in $2,500. That means you can only put in another $2,500 yourself that year. The good news, the government's initial $1,000 does not count toward that limit. Let's talk taxes real quick. The money you put in is with after-tax dollars, so you don't get a tax deduction for it right now. But the real benefit, the big win, is that inside the account, all the growth, all the gains, all the dividends, it all grows tax-deferred for years. You won't pay any taxes on that growth until it's finally pulled out decades from now. Okay, so you've put money in the account. Where does it go? This is another one of those critical rules you have to understand. You don't get to pick the stocks. And this really shows you what the government is trying to do here. The law says all the money, every penny, has to be invested in a broad U.S. stock index fund, something that tracks the S&P 500. That means no picking individual stocks, no crypto, none of that. It's designed to be a simple, set-it-and-forget-it strategy that's tied to the long-term growth of the American economy. And now, we get to the single biggest restriction of this whole program. This is the catch. This is the one thing every parent needs to fully understand before they contribute a single dollar more than the government's gift. Let me be crystal clear. This is not a savings account for childhood expenses. You cannot pull this money out to pay for braces, or private school tuition, or a car when they turn 16. The money is locked up, period. The funds are basically inaccessible until your child turns 18. This is a long-term investment plan, not a short-term savings fund. The best way to think about it is like a time capsule for their financial future. So what happens on their 18th birthday? When that lock finally comes off, they don't just get a check in the mail. The entire balance automatically rolls over into a traditional IRA in their name. And that's the whole payoff. It becomes this incredible head start on their retirement. From there, they can just let it keep growing, or they can start taking money out, subject to the normal IRA rules. Now, there is one major exception to that age 18 rule. If a child has a qualifying disability, the funds can be rolled over into a special tax-advantaged ABLE account a year earlier, starting at age 17. This gives some much-needed flexibility to families who are managing special needs expenses. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, so let's just boil it all down into a simple 3-step action plan you can actually follow. All right, step 1, confirm that birth date. Does it fall in that 2025 to 2028 window? Simple yes or no. Step 2, get their social security number. If you haven't done it yet, get on it. You're going to need it. And finally, step 3, which is the hardest part, you wait. Set a reminder on your phone for July 4th, 2026, because that's the day the gates finally open to claim that $1,000.
That 18-year lockup might seem like a huge drawback at first, but when you reframe it, when you realize the goal isn't paying for college, it's giving your child a massive head start on retirement, it all makes sense. This one program could truly change your child's financial future. Make sure you save this so you don't forget the details.